So the first time anyone ever called me a faggot was my senior year in high school. And it was someone that I went to elementary school with. It was someone I'd known for years. I was in a small town, we were friends, everything. But I had gotten named Best Citizen Superlative. I'll just shout out for that. And he didn't get it, and he wanted it, and that's what he called me. And I haven't really thought about that a lot over the years. I thought about it a lot when I was younger. Didn't really give much of a shit of recent time, but about 2 weeks ago, I was talking to some girl, and apparently some other guy liked her as well. And after I left, she had told me later that he had said, well, you know, he's a faggot. And it all kind of came up all over again after I've been out of high school almost 20 years. And it's just something I've always thought about this box of what we put people in, and how I've never believed that there is a box. It never existed. But I grew up in Airville. I grew up on farms. But I also did musical, and I sang and things. And so people kind of just say, well, that doesn't make sense to me. Like, I don't get why that doesn't work out, but it's kind of always followed me up until the last couple years, I say, and I'm grateful that I'm past it. But the biggest example I first noticed it was my 8th grade year of school. I was in junior high, and I wanted to go for show choir, and my mom didn't want me to, and I got her to accept that under the stipulation that she said that my 9th grade year, my first year in high school, you're gonna have to go for the football. You're gonna have to try out for football. And I think I truly understood that, but at the time it was just like, well, people are gonna look at you a certain way if you're going to be singing and dancing. And it was really shitty at that time to think that this person who loves me so much is gonna say that you need to balance out that masculinity with the singing and dancing. I love my mother, and I'm grateful that my 9th grade year, she didn't make me audition for football. I auditioned for show choir and got it, but I didn't have to audition for football. I would have done fantastic, though. I played football as a kid. I played every sport. But these things continued to follow me about the balance of what people think of what I do and what that means. Because I'm in a box of being a man, and it means something important to them that they have to automatically say, well, that's different. I sound different, I talk different, I'm a little dramatic sometimes, but it's something where over the years, like one time I held a hammer. I held a hammer once, and someone was like, well, you don't really strike me as someone that's handy. Motherfucker, like, I've apprenticed as a plumber, as an electrician. These are all short-term things, but I know how to do those things. And then by that time, I had enough confidence. This was when I'm in my early 20s, and I was just like, and why do you say that? Why do you think I don't look like I can hold a hammer? And it's just like, Jesus Christ, are we really trying to say that people who are feminine don't hold hammers? Like this box of saying that, well, you seem like you're gay, therefore you don't know how to hold a hammer. And I mean, I'm really proud because at this point in my career, I've been able to be the executive director of a nonprofit that is like a Habitat Restores, a reuse store. And it's construction materials. It's tons of hammers. It's tons of plywood and this and that and the other. And I get to say to people, if they ever say things like that to me, because they still do, I get to say, I ran a fucking hardware store. What have you done to prove your masculinity? And at the end of the day, like, it doesn't really matter to me anymore. I mean, it was really weird and just threw me for a loop a couple weeks ago when someone called me a faggot for the first time it happened a lot, but the first time that I actually thought about it a lot since high school. And I really don't care anymore. I'm at a point where in the last couple months, I got to do a cabaret where I wore women's dresses the whole time. And to think 17 years ago that I didn't think I could ever do anything like that, thought it was so shameful where I lived and all that, to going to having a red carpet opening and people holding banners for me and taking pictures of me, wanting me to sign headshots. I provided all the posters and headshots and cameras, but It happened, and it was so great, and everyone deserves to be able to feel so comfortable and feel like that box does not exist whatsoever. Okay.